India, let's talk about this 48-hour truce that has now been broken as the ceasefire comes to an end between Afghanistan and Pakistan. Well, as far as when it comes to this update coming in from Afghanistan, which has expressed condolences over losing 8 cricket players at a club level, that they have been killed and 4 others who have been injured in a Pakistani military regime province in Paktika. Now, these players had returned when it comes to after the end of their matches when they were targeted in this bombing, and the Afghanistan side has now condemned the killings that has now taken place of their young cricket players, and that too by Pakistan, which Pakistan is yet to claim any responsibility. Let's get in a word now from Srinjoy as well. Srinjoy, 8 young Afghanistani cricketers killed in Pakistani strikes.
Yes, and the war is spreading clearly, because Pakistan is now beginning to use its air force. Now, there have been border clashes in the area, and some Pakistani soldiers have been taken prisoner. Now, that said, this airstrike killed 8 young cricketers. Now, this is absolutely unacceptable, because this means civilian casualties. Not only have 8 Pakistani cricketers, Afghan cricketers been killed, but several have been injured. So this is also failure of Pakistani intelligence. They probably assumed that this was a place where terrorists were. Instead, they hit cricketers. So this is something Pakistan will probably be asked to apologize for by the Afghans. And we have to see what Pakistan says now and how Pakistan reacts, and also importantly, how the world international community deals with this, particularly the U.S. president.
Absolutely, because he's been calling it as an easy one to solve. Remains to be seen if there would be any mediation on part of the United States. But over these 8 Afghanistan cricketers having been killed in Pakistan strikes, the Afghanistan Cricket Board, or the ACB, has now issued a statement. Let's put that out for our viewers, where the Afghanistan Cricket Board has expressed its deep sorrow and grief over the tragic martyrdom of brave cricketers from the Urgun district in Paktika province, who were targeted in a cowardly attack carried out by Pakistani regime. In this heartbreaking incident, what is now being said that the cricketers and 7 others who have been injured, the players had earlier travelled to Sharana, as far as the capital of Paktika, to participate in a friendly cricket match, and upon returning home they were targeted during the gathering, and the ACB considers this as a great loss for Afghanistan's sports community and its athletes and the cricketing family, and the ACB extends its deepest condolences and solidarity to the bereaved families of the martyrs and the people of the Paktika province. And in response of this tragic incident and a gesture of respect to the victims, the Afghanistan Cricket Board has decided now to withdraw from participating in the upcoming Tri-Nation T20 International Series involving Pakistan, scheduled to be played in late November. As far as this big decision that is now coming on part of Pakistan, where the airstrikes killed 8 Afghan cricketers and civilians in Paktika, breaching a ceasefire hours before the crucial Doha peace talks as tensions continue to soar, and now the Tri-Series tournament involving Pakistan that was to happen later this year, Srinjoy, the decision that has now been taken by Afghanistan there that they will not play against Pakistan.
This is part of the isolation of Pakistan. While Pakistan continues to do all these things, it will clearly get more and more isolated. At the end of the day, the Pakistanis have themselves to blame. They have enough problems in their own country. They have problems in the northwest frontier province, the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. They have problems in Balochistan and Sindh. They have problems in Lahore. There are people coming out on the streets. So this happens when you treat parts of your own country like colonies, like the imperial countries did in the 18th and 19th century. Now, this, after the era of colonialism, is another sign that colonialism is still alive in some places, because the people of Rawalpindi see Balochistan as a colony just to extract resources from. Similarly, with the northwest frontier province, now these people, the Balochis and the Pathans, are not happy at all with the people in Rawalpindi and Islamabad. So what you see is a result of this assault against colonialism.
Absolutely, and as far as Afghanistan has vowed that they will retaliate, but offering these condolences, the tri-nation series that was to take place involving Pakistan during the end of this year, Afghanistan has now decided to withdraw from those series altogether. The statement that has been posted by the ACB, let's put that out for our viewers to see what they go on to say. The Afghanistan Cricket Board expresses its deepest sorrow and grief over the tragic martyrdom of the brave cricketers from the Urgun district in Paktika province who were targeted this evening in this cowardly attack carried out by the Pakistani regime. In this heartbreaking incident, 3 of the players alongside 5 fellow countrymen from the Urgun district were martyred. 7 others were injured. The players had earlier travelled to Sharana, the capital of Paktika province, to participate in a friendly cricket match, and after returning home, they were targeted during a gathering. The ACB considers this as a great loss to Afghanistan's sports community, its athletes and its cricketing family, and the ACB also extends its deepest condolences and solidarity to the bereaved families of the martyrs and to the people of the Paktika province. In response to this tragic incident, the ACB has now decided that as a gesture of respect to the victims, the Afghanistan Cricket Board has decided to withdraw from participating in the upcoming Tri-Nation T20 International Series that involves Pakistan, scheduled to be played late in November, as this decision has now been taken up by the Afghanistan Cricket Board that they will be isolating Pakistan further as far as when it comes to the strikes that Pakistan has been carried out in Afghan territory. Well, there would be strong retaliation. That is what, when it comes to the Talibani regime in Afghanistan, seems to be now saying. Now, this development that is now coming of these 8 Afghan cricketers having been killed, top Afghan cricketer also has now condemned the attack. As far as Rashid Khan is of the opinion, saying that he is deeply saddened by the loss of civilian lives in the recent Pakistani aerial strikes on Afghanistan, and a tragedy that has claimed the lives of women, children and aspiring young cricketers as well, when it comes to who had dreamed of representing their nation on the world stage. And this is absolutely immoral and barbaric to target civilian infrastructure, according to the Afghanistani cricketer, that there is nothing but unjust and unlawful actions that represent a grave violation of human rights and must not go unnoticed. And in the light of this precious innocent lives and souls that have been lost, the Afghanistani cricketer is now welcoming the ACB's decision to withdraw from the upcoming fixtures against Pakistan. He says that I stand with our people at this difficult time and national dignity must come before everything else. Well, that seems to be the statement from Rashid Khan, where he has condemned the killings of the 8 Afghanistan cricketers that has happened because of Pakistan strikes, and he has now welcomed the ACB decision. As far as the upcoming tri-series match with Pakistan that was supposed to happen in November, the ACB has decided to pull out of it, and this decision is now being welcomed by Rashid Khan. So the Afghanistan cricketer has been calling the attack as unjust and unlawful actions that represent a grave violation of human rights, and according to him, it must not go unnoticed, and he says that he welcomes the ACB's decision of withdrawing from the upcoming fixtures against Pakistan, and he stands with the people at this difficult hour, and our national dignity must come before everything else. Let's connect with Shalini now. Shalini, details that are now coming in, condemnation that has been pouring in, and of course this is coming at a time where these 8 cricketers, bright young cricketers, the youth of Afghanistan, has been targeted and killed.
Right, Amita, the escalation between Pakistan and Afghanistan is raging on. I have a reaction by a top Afghan cricketer here, where he says that I am deeply saddened by the loss of civilian lives in the recent Pakistani aerial strikes on Afghanistan, a tragedy that claimed the lives of women, children and aspiring young cricketers who dream of representing their nation on world stage. It is absolutely immoral and barbaric to target civilians' infrastructure. These unjust and unlawful actions represent a grave violation on human rights and must not go unnoticed. In light of precious innocent souls lost, I welcome the ACB's decision of withdrawing from the upcoming fixtures against Pakistan. I stand with our people at this difficult time Our national dignity must come before all else. We have multiple reactions, condemning Pakistan over the aerial attack over Afghanistan, where multiple civilians have also been killed.
All right, Shalini, thank you for that update. So Rashid Khan there condemning the Pakistani strikes and expressing his condolences for those cricketers having lost their lives in Pakistan strikes. But as far as this ongoing conflict between Afghanistan and Pakistan is concerned, President Trump of the United States seems to be claiming that this conflict would be an easy one for him to solve if needed, because he's been eyeing victories over when it comes to this multiple nations that have been involved in conflicts, and he seems to be repeatedly claiming that in the last 8 months in office, he seems to have solved 8 wars, and according to him, remains to be seen if there is any intervention on part of the US. Srinjoy, because negotiations and talks that has been taking place with countries other than the Middle East, Donald Trump is of the opinion that it would be an easy one for him to solve this war, as he loves solving wars.
That would be very good, actually, if this conflict came to an end. It's not much of a war, really. There's just been some border firing along the border, the Durand line, and of course, the Pakistani Air Force has bombed wrongly, I would say, certain places in Afghanistan and causing casualties. But that said, the president would do well to end this war the way he worked to end the one between the Israelis and Hamas. But this one needs his attention, because this has the potential of getting worse and worse. We've just heard of these 8 young cricketers being killed and several others injured. Now, what will Afghanistan do now? Surely we will see the Afghans doing something about it. Now they have enough weapons. The Americans have left huge quantities of weapons. They have enough soldiers, and they could be particularly effective during border operations. So we have to see where this goes. But it's important for the international community to try and step in. The Qataris have always been good at this. The Turks have been involved. And President Trump, of course, is President Trump.
Okay.
So we have to see how this how the world community, the world looks at this and deals with this.
All right, Srinjoy, thank you very much for joining in. As far as if there is any intervention that would be required on part of President of the United States, because he seems to be claiming that in the last 8 months in office, he has stopped 8 wars and has saved millions of lives. And as far as India and Pakistan is concerned, that always finds a mention in any of his statements that he makes, because he believes that there was a potential nuclear war that could have happened between the 2 countries, the 2 neighbors, which he believes that they have been fighting for centuries now. But he seems to be claiming once again that he solved multiple wars, including India and Pakistan.
Well, we resolved 8 others. It's funny how people say that. If you get this one, every time I do one, they forget about that one. I solved 8 wars. Go to Rwanda and the Congo, talk about India and Pakistan. Look at Thailand. Look at all of the wars that we solved. And every time I solve one, they say, if you solve the next one, you're going to get the Nobel Prize. I didn't get a Nobel Prize. Somebody got it who's a very nice woman, very nice. I don't know who she is, but she was very generous. So I don't care about all that stuff. I just care about saving lives. But this will be number 9. But every time I solve one, they said, sir, if you solve one more, you're going to be known as a peacekeeper. So to the best of my knowledge, we've never had a president that solved one war. Not one war. Bush started a war. A lot of them start wars, but they don't solve the wars. They don't settle them. And especially when they have nothing to do with us. I saw almost, I guess, just about all of these wars had nothing to do with us. But I saved tens of millions of lives. The Prime Minister of Pakistan said, I saved millions of lives in interceding on Pakistan, and you look at Pakistan and India as an example. That would have been a bad one, 2 nuclear nations, right? So I say this, this is pretty much the last one, although I do understand that Pakistan attacked, or there is an attack going on with Afghanistan. That's an easy one for me to solve if I have to solve it. In the meantime, I have to run the USA, but I love solving wars. You know why? I like stopping people from being killed, and I've saved millions and millions of lives, and I think we're going to have success with this war.
Well, President